This past weekend, I met with U.S. Vice President Vance in Rome, where I reiterated what workers and businesses on both sides of the border have long known, that Canada and the United States are stronger when we work together.
It's possible to build an oil pipeline from Quebec to the Maritimes, from Alberta to displace our oil exports to the U.S.
A dire new warning from the CEO of America's largest bank, who is sounding the alarm on tariffs and their impact on the U.S. economy. We're talking about J.P. Morgan's Jamie Dimon saying that Trump's tariffs are extreme, and that he believes the full impact are still yet to be felt.
Sir Keir Starmer has called Britain's New Deal with the European Union a win-win for both sides after hosting the first UK-EU summit since Brexit.
How did tariffs backfire so badly that Washington is now facing a full-blown oil crisis? And is this the beginning of the end for U.S. energy dominance? Let's dive deep into one of the biggest geopolitical energy stories unfolding right before our eyes: the collapse of energy diplomacy. It began with tariffs, those powerful tools wielded by the Trump administration to punish trading partners and force fairer deals. On paper, it looked like a solid plan. Increase pressure on China, reduce the U.S. trade deficit, and bring back manufacturing jobs. But when it comes to global energy, the world is more interconnected than most realize. And the U.S., despite its shale boom and oil production surge, still depends on a tightly woven web of allies, trade routes, and strategic partnerships. When Trump imposed tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum, Canada, America's largest trading partner, was hit hard. The fallout was immediate. Ottawa didn't sit quietly. They responded with retaliatory tariffs, diplomatic resistance, and most importantly, an open search for new partners. Fast forward to today, and that search has led Canada straight to Beijing. Why Canada turned to China? Let's be clear, Canada didn't wake up one day and decide to abandon the US. This was a gradual process, rooted in years of trade tension, pipeline politics, and shifting global dynamics. First, there's the Trans Mountain Pipeline. For years, it's been a battleground between environmentalists, indigenous communities, and federal ambitions. While the US grew its oil exports to Asia, Canada found itself bottlenecked, unable to get its oil to market beyond the US border. China, however, offered a lifeline. In recent years, Chinese state-owned firms began quietly investing in Canadian energy infrastructure. From LNG terminals in British Columbia to stakes in Alberta oil sands, China has slowly embedded itself into Canada's energy future. The offer was simple: reliable, long-term investment with fewer political strings attached. And Canada, burned by Washington's unpredictable trade policies, took the deal: the silent energy realignment. This isn't just about Canada. What we're witnessing is part of a much larger shift in global energy alliances. As the US turns inward, China is stepping up, offering trade, financing, and diplomatic support to countries once firmly in the American orbit. In 2024, Canada signed a major long-term oil supply agreement with China's Sinopec and CNPC. It bypasses traditional US routes and instead relies on Pacific shipping lanes and rail infrastructure that leads directly to new terminals built with Chinese financing. This deal not only secures a massive market for Canadian crude, but it also gives China leverage in the Western Hemisphere, a region long considered America's backyard. And here's the kicker: many of these negotiations happened quietly, behind closed doors, as Washington remained focused on its domestic political battles. The blowback for the United States. The consequences are already hitting home. Gas prices in parts of the US have surged, not because of a lack of oil, but because of supply chain disruptions, reduced imports from Canada, and bottlenecks at refineries that were built to process heavier Canadian crude. Energy analysts are sounding the alarm. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve, once a buffer in times of crisis, is at its lowest level in decades. And with fewer barrels flowing from Canada, US refiners are scrambling to secure oil from more distant, less stable sources. Even more troubling is the loss of geopolitical leverage. For decades, America's influence over Canada's energy decisions gave it a strategic advantage in the global oil chessboard. That influence is now eroding, replaced by a growing Chinese footprint just north of the border. Trump's trade war legacy. When Donald Trump initiated his tariffs, the goal was to strengthen America, but in the complex web of international energy, those moves had unintended consequences. Instead of weakening China, the tariffs pushed U.S. allies to seek alternatives. Canada, the EU, and even Mexico began exploring new partnerships, reducing their dependence on the U.S. market. In Trump's effort to isolate China, he inadvertently isolated the U.S. Now, years later, America is seeing the ripple effects: higher energy costs, weakened regional alliances, and a China that is not only surviving but thriving, positioning itself as the go-to energy partner for disillusioned Western nations. Canada's strategic pivot: more than oil. The Canada-China. Alignment isn't just about oil, it's about a full-spectrum strategic pivot. Canada is now allowing increased Chinese investment in critical minerals, like lithium and cobalt, needed for electric vehicle batteries. China's Belt and Road Initiative, once viewed with suspicion, is now being quietly integrated into Canadian trade logistics. New rail lines, ports, and even Arctic routes are being evaluated with Chinese cooperation. What was once unthinkable, a Canada more aligned with Beijing than Washington, is now becoming a strategic reality. And it's sending shockwaves through Capitol Hill, U.S. industry caught in the crossfire. It's not just the government feeling the pressure. U.S. energy companies, many of which built entire business models around reliable Canadian imports, are facing a reckoning. Refineries in the Midwest are paying premiums. Tanker traffic from the Gulf Coast is backed up, and pipeline operators are lobbying Washington to ease restrictions and mend ties with Ottawa. But the damage is done. Canadian firms, backed by Chinese capital, now have less incentive to sell to the U.S. when Asia is offering better deals, faster payments, and long-term certainty. Can the U.S. turn this around? The big question now is, can America fix this? Some in Washington are calling for a reset, renegotiating trade terms, offering incentives for Canadian cooperation, and even rolling back certain tariffs. Others are more aggressive, proposing energy sanctions or blocking further Chinese investment in North American infrastructure. But time is not on America's side. China is moving fast. Canada is moving on. And the U.S. risks being left behind, stuck, in an energy crisis of its own making, a new global order in energy. What we're seeing isn't just a trade dispute or a pipeline deal gone wrong. This is the formation of a new energy world order. China is using investment as diplomacy. Canada is choosing stability over tradition. And the U.S., once the undisputed leader in global energy, is now scrambling to adapt. The age of Western energy dominance is being challenged, and at the heart of it is a decision made years ago to weaponize trade. A decision now coming, full circle. Environmental politics and energy strategy. It's impossible to talk about Canada's shift without discussing the role of environmental policy. Canada has long wrestled with balancing its vast natural resources with growing environmental commitments. The pressure to reduce carbon emissions has put Canadian oil projects under the microscope, delaying pipeline expansions and limiting new production. Meanwhile, China is aggressively investing in fossil fuels and green energy alike, positioning itself as a leader in both traditional energy exports and renewable technology. This dual approach makes China an appealing partner for Canada, a way to hedge bets between economic growth and environmental responsibility. For the U.S., these environmental politics add complexity. Domestic debates over oil pipelines and green energy are at odds with the immediate energy needs caused by disrupted Canadian imports. The U.S. finds itself squeezed between political ideals and geopolitical realities. The role of Indigenous communities and local economies. Another critical factor in Canada's energy pivot is the growing political and economic influence of Indigenous communities. Many pipeline projects, including the controversial Trans Mountain expansion, have faced staunch opposition from Indigenous groups demanding greater control and benefit sharing. China's investments often come with fewer political hurdles, offering direct economic incentives to local communities that Western companies have struggled to provide. This has created a unique dynamic where Indigenous groups see Chinese partnerships as opportunities for development, jobs, and infrastructure investment. This shift influences Canada's broader energy strategy and further distances it from the US, where indigenous energy concerns differ in scale and approach. Energy infrastructure vulnerabilities and security concerns. As Canada deepens ties with China, energy infrastructure becomes a critical security concern. With Chinese firms owning stakes in key ports, rail lines, and terminals, questions arise about national security and foreign influence. The US government has raised alarms about potential vulnerabilities, whether it's the risk of supply chain disruptions or sensitive data falling under foreign control. Yet, Ottawa has taken a pragmatic stance, weighing economic benefits against security risks.